Hey there, I am Claudia Petrilli, certified health coach. I help amazing women like you feel better about themselves inside and out. And this month, just on this page, I am doing 31 days of free coaching, which means that you can get to submit any of your health questions and I will answer them live right here on this page every Tuesday and Thursday at 12:30 p.m. EST. So make sure you give us a like above and then you can follow along. So let's get started. Today's question is something that many people have asked me, especially nowadays. It seems like it's very prevalent. And that question is, what can I do to manage my anxiety? So many people are experiencing anxiety nowadays. It's not surprising. We're all doing a lot. We have very long to-do lists. We're working long hours. There's a lot going on in our economy and the political world. Things are very stressful. There's a lot of crazy news. It's no wonder why people are experiencing anxiety and stress and overwhelm. So if you have anxiety, you may be experiencing things, like I said, overwhelm, stress, shortness of breath, feeling like you don't have any control over things. Maybe you're somebody who constantly worries about the future, or you have actual panic attacks. So while I cannot provide a specific protocol in this video for you, I can give some really good tips to get you started so that you can start to feel better ASAP. So first, let's talk about the reasons why you may be dealing with anxiety, anxious thoughts, anxious feelings. So one, and this is where I go all the time, usually any sort of symptom that somebody is experiencing, this is the first thing we talk about is your food, your diet. What are you eating every day? Are you eating a diet that is high in sugar, simple carbs? Are you not getting enough fiber, protein, healthy fats? If you're eating a lot of carbs, particularly when you wake up in the morning, you start your day off and, you're reaching for, waffles, bagels, muffins, things like that. The sugar is absorbed very quickly into your bloodstream, and this is going to cause a very quick high or surge of energy. And sometimes that can give you very similar symptoms to an anxiety attack. Like hey Lisa, how are you? Very similar symptoms to an anxiety attack, like the shakes, maybe a rapid heartbeat, even sweating. I know that when I used to be hypoglycemic, which is low sugar, I used to get those feelings. I didn't know what it was. A lot of people think it's anxiety or panic attacks, but many times it could be a sugar imbalance. So the another reason why you may be experiencing anxiety or overwhelm is a diet that is high in artificial colors, dyes, sweeteners, GMOs, which is genetically modified organisms, or chemical preservatives. These can greatly affect our nervous system, and it is a very good reason to remove them from your food and also your children's food. I know sometimes it's hard to feed children, and all these like cereals and candy and cookies and all this stuff is marketed towards them. But all those artificial colors and, the food dyes and the artificial sweeteners and all that crap that is in there can absolutely affect their behavior. So especially if you have a child who has some sort of behavioral issue, I would absolutely clean up their diet and start getting rid of those things. There are healthier options out there. So the other thing you want to obviously watch out for is alcohol. I know, and I spoke about this on my page earlier this week about how I personally used to struggle with what I thought was social anxiety. It's just that I'm a big old introvert, but I used to reach for alcohol to ease that anxiety, those nervous feelings. And unfortunately, it can help maybe for a little bit, but then after some time, it can actually have the opposite effect and exacerbate those anxious feelings. Not only that, it's going to disrupt your sleep. And it can definitely have an effect the next day, and that's just going to make your anxiety worse. So if you're somebody who experiences anxiety, I highly recommend avoiding alcohol or really reducing your intake. The other thing, and this is a big one, is caffeine, your caffeine intake. For anybody who experiences anxiety, I always recommend that they reduce their caffeine intake, whether that's coffee, soda, even if you're eating a lot of chocolate, you just want to be really careful with that. If you're somebody who absolutely loves coffee in the morning, I recommend either switching to decaf, looking for an herbal coffee. One brand that I really like is Ticino, I think I'm saying it right. That one tastes just like coffee, but it's made with herbs, so it actually has some really good health benefits, and you're not going to get that caffeine rush. The other thing I highly recommend, that I've talked about this a lot here and in my groups, is matcha. Matcha does have caffeine, however, it has a much slower caffeine release, and it has L-theanine, which is an amino acid that really helps to promote a sense of calm. So it's recommended for people who may have anxiety. Okay, the other thing, and this gets a little more complex, but I like to get to the root cause of why people are experiencing certain symptoms. Another thing is imbalanced neurotransmitters. So if you think of our brain, we have billions of cells in there, and they need to communicate. And they do that via neurotransmitters. There are different types of neurotransmitters, which I'm not going to get into, but one of them is amino acids, which you've probably heard of, and you can get those through food and supplementation, things like that. If you're not getting enough amino acids, or you don't have a proper balance of them, it can absolutely cause problems with your mood, your memory, energy, sleep, motivation, even your libido. So, those neurotransmitters, they send messages to your nervous system. And that basically, what does our nervous system control? It controls our breathing, our heart rate, and even digestion. So again, any sort of abnormal neurotransmitter activity is really going to cause issues with your nervous system, and it can cause psychiatric disorders. And then lastly, and this is a big one, and I could talk about this for hours, maybe on another live, is some sort of genetic mutation. That could be very well be at the cause or the root cause of your anxiety issues, especially if you've tried a lot of things and nothing's working. That is something to definitely look into. So all that said, what are some things that you can do? Obviously I started with diet. So the first thing I would say is to change your diet. Start really looking at the amount of sugar that you're taking in, the amount of simple carbs that I mentioned earlier. You want to start incorporating more quality protein, healthy fats. You got your fiber in there, your vegetables, things like that. You want to definitely incorporate, like I said, healthy fats, but those omega-3 fatty acids. If you need to supplement, that's okay. Selenium is another really good thing that we need, and we're probably not getting enough of, and it's very easy to get. You can take, I think it's 2 Brazil nuts a day. You can just buy those nuts anywhere. Buy them raw, preferably not roasted or with anything added to them. If you just have 2 of those a day, that is all the selenium you need, and that's really going to help you with other things, not just like your mental health. The other thing you want is choline, which you can get from eggs, you can get from grass-fed beef. Okay, so then I'm going to move on to a couple other things that you can start to do. So of course you want to minimize things around you that cause stress, whether that's people in your life, events, unnecessary expenses. I know nowadays people are always stressed out about finances, probably for as long as, forever, maybe not just nowadays, but it seems like it's very heightened now. Look at your expenses every month. What are you spending your money on? Is it benefiting you? Is it benefiting your health? If not, maybe it's something that you need to reassess. If you're constantly under stress, like chronic stress, of course you're going to have anxious feelings, anxious thoughts. You're not gonna be able to sleep well at night. It's really looking at your overall lifestyle. Other things you can do, and of course these are things that are very helpful. They don't always help everyone depending on how intense your anxiety is, but yoga, meditation, deep breathing, essential oils, I swear by those things. They help me drastically. Getting more sleep, of course. If you're not sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night, you're going to have, it's just going to affect your health overall. And if you have anxiety, it's just going to make it worse. And then I talked a little bit about a genetic mutation. So you might want to start looking into testing. You might want to consider getting genetic testing, particularly to see if you have any mutations like MTHFR. It's a very long word, so I'm just giving you the abbreviation MTHFR. It's something that I personally have. My sister has it. She struggles with anxiety. I struggle with other things, some anxiety, not as intense as hers, but when you know what's going on with your genes, it's so much easier to start to make changes, because if you don't do the testing, you're not going to understand what's really going on with your body, and then you're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So instead of like trying every supplement under the sun and doing a million things, getting the answers that you need is so vital and so helpful so that you can really create like a specific protocol. Or have somebody do it for you. That's what I do as a health coach. And then the other thing is nutrient testing. So when you go for your blood work, there's a ton of blood work that I recommend that everyone get at least once a year between thyroid and hormones and all that. But the thing specifically for anxiety you want to be looking at, and you want to talk to your healthcare practitioner, is B6, vitamin B6, zinc, magnesium, if they can do that, iron, and vitamin D. Vitamin D is so important, and I recommend you get that tested like twice a year. Yeah, when that's low, it's going to affect so many things. And then, of course, you want to consider supplementation and different herbs, but you definitely want to work with a healthcare professional. You can work with me on that. You can work with a doctor. I give you recommendations, and then, of course, you can always take them to your doctor to work with them to make sure that everything is, is safe for you, and whatever else your health history is, and if you're on any medications or anything. So okay, I think that's all I wanted to say about that. Like I said, I can go into a lot more depth with this, but I can only do so much in a live video. If you are interested in learning more about this, I do have an anti-anxiety protocol, which lists everything I just spoke about, but it also gives recommendations on supplementation, different herbs, the names of tests, and you can get that when you join my membership, Real Health for Real Women. It's a monthly membership. Anyone can join. It's for women, but anybody over the age of 18 can join. You get expert health advice that you can trust in that group. Every month I do a coaching call. We have wellness experts that show up in the group. We try to do that monthly so you can get all your questions answered and really start to understand what's going on with your health so that you can make the absolute, the necessary changes so that you can start seeing results ASAP. All right, I'm going to put the link to that in the comments. But if you have any questions this month when it comes to your health, doesn't have to be about anxiety. It could be about anything. Post them here, send me a message, send me an email, and make sure you just like and follow this page so that I can answer them every Tuesday and Thursday. So I'll be here again on Thursday at 12:30 p.m. EST answering your questions. All right, see you soon.